Neither rain nor snow nor gloom of night stay these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. We all know that's the motto, right? Wrong. It was actually written by a Greek philosopher Herodotus around the time of 500 BC to account a very, very early Persian version of the Pony Express, which were mounted couriers, and or that's at least what that quote is believed to be an account of. The way it became the unofficial motto of the Postal Service is engraved in the main entrance on the building of the New York City Post Office. So, that being said, as I even say post office, I'm reminded that we're actually no longer the post office, we're the United States Postal Service. Even though in our common day, everyday language, we still say post office just because it's easier. The reason for that differentiation was in 1971, the Postal Service became an independent agency, and that was one of the stipulations. And it's a reminder that they're no longer affiliated or funded by the government. They're not part of the president's cabinet anymore as of 1971. So, as we're sending our greeting cards and things this holiday season, or getting those wonderful Cyber Monday deals and Black Friday and Thursday Thanksgiving sales now, I would like to help out with a few shipping and tracking necessities that I find helpful. So for that, and to keep myself on track, I've come up with the acronym of E.L.F. because every holiday season needs an E.L.F. So let's get started with E, ensure delivery. So that brings us actually to L, which is to legibly and correctly label and address your items. So the one thing that is actually a very big deal regarding addresses and labeling is the postage, one, and two is also your zip code. So ZIP stands for Zoning Improvement Plan, and that code came about in 1963 and was initially mandatory but was implemented, and then in 1983 the Postal Service took it a step further as it became ever expanding and created the ZIP plus 4. So what that is, if you can see here on my little piece of junk mail, is the 5-digit zip code plus an additional 4 digits. So in my case, Fairfield, Ohio, 45014. That tells the machine, because the machine will read from the bottom up. Once it sees that code, the zip code, it tells it which sorting or processing plant to send that piece of mail to. And then if you have the postal code or the +4, it will tell the machine exactly which route. So for me, if the 1656 tells the machine my house and which route I live on, so it can immediately sort of jump in front of line and not have to go through a couple other sorting processes, if you will. That can be followed more in depth on the USPS.com website. That's the Postal Service's official website. And the article is How a Letter Travels, and it's under the About section. Much of this information that I'm about to give you, it can be accessed from there, as well as from the mobile apps, which I will also discuss. Why don't I just discuss them now? So we have a few mobile apps. One is USPS Mobile, and you can do most of the things. The only thing I have noticed is the holiday stamps are not yet populating on the app. So here are, you can see sort of with the glare, you can see the USPS Mobile and Informed Delivery. USPS VR. The VR stands for virtual reality. It doesn't work on my phone, but hey, if somebody gets you a cool pair of virtual reality goggles or glasses or whatever, I guess it links up to that, and it's supposed to be really neat. So here is the USPS mobile app, and you can track your packages, access and form delivery by postage, click and ship, which is for parcels. And for parcels, you would need your scale as well as to help with your proper postage. You can also look up zip codes or the +4 postal code. Another thing that I find useful is I use Google. Who doesn't use Google anymore? Keyword search, tips for measurements on postage, things like that. And you will find a few things such as this, because anything outside of the standard measurements is going to cost more in postage. Sometimes you'll see those envelopes for greeting cards, and it will say may require additional or does require additional postage. So it'll be 60 cents to send rather than 49 cents, either because it's non-machinable, it can't be run through our machines, or because of the measurements, it just makes it a little too tall or thick. So here are examples for first class stamps. The smallest is the 3.5 inches by 5 inches. That's the smallest that requires a first class stamp, and the largest is 6.5 by 11.5. Anything below that is the 3.5 by 5.5. You can use a postcard stamp, and then 4.5 inches tall, or 4.25 inches tall. I apologize. 4.25 inches tall, and 6.5 inches or 6 inches in length. Those are postcard stamps, and that comes in handy if you're going to use awesome books like this, and like this is called the envelope mill, and you basically and this is another book, Creative Correspondence. And you can use your leftover wrapping paper or the side of your K-cup cardboard box and turn it into a postcard or a greeting card. If you're crafty, want to get creative for the holiday season, mail art, give it a Google go. And once you've created a wonderful piece of mail art, feel free to take the extra money and put it into mailing it via priority mail in a flat rate envelope, which would make it completely trackable. Another rule as far as postage, here's the manila envelopes, even the small ones. Those require at least 4 stamps. Now, as we get to larger pieces of mail, such as this, bubble envelopes, those do not count as an actual envelope. They're considered a spur, and it's actually parcel postage is what you would have to pay for that. When in doubt, just go to the kiosk, have it weighed, the little automated kiosk, and pay for the printed out metered postage, or wait in line. I know the BMV and the Postal Service, the only 2 places that have really long lines at any given time of the day, it seems. But sometimes it's worth it. You can even take your big stack of greeting cards if you don't feel like putting stamps on every single one, or wedding invitations, or whatever it may be, and pay for the amount. They'll count out how many you have, calculate it, and they'll just run it through the machine for you. We do have a 13-ounce rule, and you may have seen this on the side of blue boxes. Essentially, anything over 13 ounces must be taken into the kiosk or to an actual window clerk in the post office. Otherwise, it is considered anonymous mail. You can also use click and ship, because basically they just want a name and a way to trace it back to someone if it weighs over 13 ounces. for the being, if someone has nefarious intentions, you can't just weigh it and then put like a book of stamps on it with no return address. It then becomes rather fishy. So they will actually return that to you. I have actually had a very upset person tell me that their wife, well, it was in an article, their wife took the gift, it was a Mother's Day gift or something like that, paid the postage, but then instead of shipping it with the clerk, for whatever reason, she had held on to it and then mailed it from her house, and then it came back to her with an anonymous mail sticker. So if it's over 13 ounces and you don't use click and ship, just take it into the kiosk or the person just to ensure delivery. Another way, and we have several services for that. We can do certified mail, which requires the signature, and it is additional postage, signature tracking, and also you can just pay $1 for, I believe it's still $1 for the barcode that scans, and just USPS tracking. The Priority Mail Express, those all come with tracking barcodes. But if you're just mailing a letter and it has a gift card or something in it, I definitely suggest that you use either certified or a certified mail, which is about $6.50 now, I believe, or just pay that additional $1 to have a tracking barcode sticker put on the label to make sure and discourage. Unfortunately, there are thieves everywhere, and some of them work at the post office. It happens. We actually just had a bunch of people fired from my own actual office. It was devastating to many of us. There were people, there are a couple clerks and a couple carriers involved, unfortunately, and they were greedy and they were taking money and gift cards out of the mail. So that's my timer to tell me that, the holidays are upon us, and so we must finish up our E.L.F. here. So F, find which is right for you. So figure out which service we offer that's right for you. Follow at your fingertips, and then when it arrives, hey, finally, it's here. So again, I believe I already showed you, this is the USPS mobile app, and then you can see the little informed delivery. You can access that from there, or there is a separate app for informed delivery, and it's new. It's pretty cool, actually. You can scan. I've already logged in. Let's see if it will show me my mail. So here are my packages, and I have some delivered. I have stuff that's in transit, and then I can see it actually will send you an email every day, and that's as it runs through that same machine that tells you what the zip code is. If you can see, those are pieces of mail, and you would get every single day, you get an email of what is going to be in the mail. Now, sometimes if you don't get it, you can, there is an option that say, I did not receive this today. And some of the times the reasons for that is on the Windows, the machine sometimes it like sort of like the printer will suck up 2 pieces of paper at a time. It will get missorted. It'll be in the correct office, but not in the right route. So say I'm on Route 32, maybe a couple pieces of my mail ends up on Route 31, and their mail ends up on my route, or vice versa. It sometimes just happens. That being said, there is a box you can click. And informed delivery is actually pretty great. You can see what you're expecting, track your packages on there, and it's a way to kind of keep track. If someone says, well, my son's birthday was in September, right? And his aunt lives in Texas, and said, hey, I sent this like a week ago, but there was a hurricane and all this stuff was going on. Have you gotten it yet? Well, I was still at work, but I was able to pull up my email. I hadn't downloaded the app yet, so I was able to pull up my email, go in, and then look and call her back or text message her back and say, yeah, I haven't physically held it yet, but I see that it's supposed to get here today. And I feel like it's a very helpful tool, especially around the holidays. You can kind of cheat if you're at the store and sort of see who sent you Christmas cards or whatever holiday cards, so you know how many holiday cards to pick up or whatever. So again, ensure delivery by picking different tracking options. Those are all available again at the website, on the USPS mobile app, and then informed delivery is a great tool to keep track of your own personal mail. So USPS, we deliver for you. Santa and Amazon too. Let us be your elves this holiday season. Thank you. I hope I gave you some information that you didn't already know. Happy holidays.